sure you were comfortable. I didn't even know.
Good evening. Wastewater is running just as well as it has been. No issues, no problems. Water, where do I begin? We had a rough 3 weeks with the water. First off, I want to say is our customers are the best in the world. We have not had any bad publicity, bad anything. We put it out there, y'all did what you had to do. Our water was never below 80%. We were good the whole time. That's until the people putting a pole in over there, they hit the water line and we dropped yesterday. So 3 hours we had it back in service. We are at 90% right now. We're good. I talked to Duck River at 4 o'clock. They are trying to fill their 2 million gallon tank. At that time, they're at 15%. So they're still asking people to conserve water. We've done really well. Our water, we're doing good, but it's still, we're trying to help our neighbors, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Nobody's washing cars, nobody's mowing, doing lawns or anything like that, so we're doing good. The other thing with the water is we were never in danger, even if they were to shut off. They did shut off for about 7 hours. I was up there for about 4 of those hours. Even if they was to shut it off for a day or 2 days, we were not in danger. We were good. We went and secured our emergency plan the day we heard about it. Ronnie and I went to town and did that. And my guys worked very hard to make sure our tanks were all full and we had no leaks. We ran. So right now we're tight. Pressure's up. Everybody go home and take a shower. Other than that, I think we're good.
Could I ask you?
Yep.
I had some questions, and I had no idea how to answer them. One of the questions was, if our water comes from War Trace, why is that? How does Duck River impact?
Okay, the water starts at Duck River. At the lake. It goes out of there in one main valve that feeds a 36-inch line. And then when it gets to Short Springs, it divides off. It goes to Manchester, which feeds a 1.5 million gallon tank. Duck River stays at 2 million gallon tank. And then from there, it goes to Tullahoma. From Tullahoma, it comes through Normandy, down to War Trace, and then to Belleville.
Well, that was the other question. What did it have to do with Tullahoma?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so what had happened is the valve had a crack in it during that hard freeze. And the valve stands this tall. I mean, it's huge. And in the meantime, the perfect storm happened. We were dripping water. Well, when you have Pelham, Tullahoma, Manchester, West Warren, Normandy, War Trace, and Bell Buckle, everybody dripping water. Those tanks, you can watch them drop. So what happened is, when they got down, they couldn't put enough pressure to keep it stabilized, or they would have blew that all together, and nobody would have water. So they did just enough pressure. I mean, they were leaking water, yes, but they did enough pressure to keep the tanks at least stabilized until we got out of this freeze, and then they tore it down. That's why, everybody's saying, well, they had a leak, they didn't fix a leak. Well, they found a leak in Manchester today. It was a 4-inch line that's been going out at Bonnaroo. Nobody checks Bonnaroo when it's not going on, so. That got taken care of, and now they're filling pretty quick. Pretty quick as in quick for them. It's not, turn it on, shut it off in an hour. It runs and runs and runs, so.
Thank you.
Any questions? I'd like to thank Mark and his crew for all the work they did and keeping us apprised of the situation and making sure that we had water. Fire report?
The fire report, it was also busy. 17 calls is what we had in January, 2 brush fires, 11 medical calls, 1 fire alarm. We had 1 MVA. We stood by for a house fire for Bedford County, and we had a standby for the train derailment in Wartrace. The train derailment in Wartrace alone was 1,144 minutes of manpower. We had a total of 37 and a half hours of manpower used last month on calls. March 7th, we're having chili cook-off, so everybody start practicing. Looking for judges. Need some judges. We'll feed you.
Chili.
Also, we go for grants for the fire hall just like y'all do for the BOMA board and everything else. We've got an opportunity to go to a managing the grant cycle, which means you can manage, it teaches you how to manage the grant and stuff like that. The class is on February 19th and 20th. It's at the Sheriff's Training Office in Shelbyville. It's from 5 to 6:30 for 2 days. It's $30 a person, covers both days, and you can bring a snack and light supper or drink, whatever you want to. I know there's a few of us that are going. Mark just told me he would like to go. It's a good opportunity to learn how to manage your grant, how to keep up with it, and stuff like that. So, and if you would like to sign up for that, I have a sign-up sheet right here. So. Does that work?
I mean, beautification has 2 people on the sign.
Okay. That's it.
All right. Any other questions? Planning Commission report?
We didn't have commission last time, but we will be on February the 24th after the Board of Zoning meeting, that same day, at 5:30. Well, 5:30 is the zoning, and then we'll be right after.
Chamber of Commerce report? Parks and Rec?
Yeah, we're coming up on our busy time of the year here very shortly, so we've put our mowing contract bid documents together for next year. We'll be submitting that to the city so that they can put that out for bids. I think the first part of March, I think that is. We also are working on our park master plan, Mark, and we've got a draft of it. And so we're trying to get that finalized sometime before the end of March. We're still working on an issue that we've got with our security camera system out at the park, but we've got some folks looking at what needs to be done to get that back up to snuff. The plans for the community garden, and this is Betsy, this is the beautification committee. That seems to be coming along nicely. We have a location that we have selected close to the water source up there that we think that will work for it quite well. That's along the road going down out to the convenience center, so it'll be, convenient for people to access it as well.
Yeah, I'll give her a report on that too.
Okay, very good. We're making preparations for our Arbor Day tree giveaway, and that will be on, I believe, March 21st. That's the 3rd Saturday in March. And this year we'll be giving away 2 species. Last year we were able to do 3, but the source has limited us to 2 this year. So you remember what those were, Jim?
It's the shagbark hickory and white pine.
Okay, very good.
It's the first time we've done a pine variety.
Okay. We've also selected the tree of note for this year, which we will be announcing at the Arbor Day ceremony. Our Tree City application was submitted and is approved, so we are, continue to be a Tree City USA. So we're very pleased with that. And speaking of grants, we also applied for the Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthy Places grant. And unfortunately, we heard word in December that we were not selected for that, but we will try again.
Did they give you any feedback?
Not yet.
Oh, but they do.
I've asked for it, but
Are the daffodils coming up?
Mine are.
I mean, we planted some out at the park.
Oh, yeah. I haven't looked to see this year, but they have.
But the mowing, they know to mow.
Right, they know to stay away
Okay,
from them.
great,
Yep.
wonderful, thank you.
All right, that's all.
Any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Is it tree trimming time? Is it the time of year that we should trim the trees? Because we've got a few roads that need trees trimmed for the fire trucks to get down. This Elkins Road, right there, we couldn't go down there if we
It's a
had.
good time to do that,
Okay,
yeah. Well, it's still cold,
so we can start,
yeah, up just actually into late spring.
okay.
There's some specific techniques that need to be done with that, so we can.
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah.
Historical committee report. Beautification committee.
Take one and pass it on. At least while I'm thinking about it, can you cut a check for beautification for the people that going for the grant?
Going with,
Going to the grant workshop.
oh, the one that he was just talking about, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, the reason I have a handout is we've been busy. We have accepted the sandblasting and powder coating for the 2 chairs and footrests in the caboose. And, it's gonna be about a total of $1,000. We started out with 5 companies and whittled it down in the Vortex that we're using. And we'll have to get them out, we'll have to take them to them in Murfreesboro, and then we'll get them reupholstered. The pollinator garden has been repaired, by Bob Emmons, and, looks great. The planting beds downtown have been cleaned. The biggest thing we'll talk about is the community garden. If you look on the 2nd page, nope, 3rd page, you'll see a diagram of it. 1 square equals 1 foot. And, we're really excited because this will truly be a community garden. It'll be 20 feet on each side, 4 feet deep, 4 feet wide, because if you have people small kids or people, who are handicapped, you have the 4 feet, they can reach over from either side. It will be open in the middle if you look at it. And, it'll have fencing around it, around the outside, I can't remember what you call that, farm fencing, roots and rigid, and, to keep deer out. And we're excited about the volunteers we've already got, in line. The beautification committee is wonderful. Sheila Joe, made contact with Cascades FFA. They're going to start the seeds in their greenhouse that don't do well planted in the ground, but they need to be started early. Then the women in the county jail are gonna design the garden. There's a group that, Sheila Joe here. Is there a name for that group, Sheila Joe? Oh, okay.
Peapod. That's the pod I live in. So it's a program. Lieutenant Cook has evidence-based programming in our jail, and there's a pod for men and a pod for women that is specifically in the program. And so the women, they have have a 2-acre garden at the jail, and they also have some beehives. They're all about the gardening, and they had to, I don't know how many pounds of produce into that kitchen, and learned how to can and all kinds of things. They're excited.
Oh, we're excited too. So they're gonna design the garden. We will give them the vegetables that we would like to grow in it, and then they will design it with companion plants, and no herbicides or anything like that will be used. We're replacing the cigarette disposal container out front of Town Hall. It's sort of askew, and we'll be replacing it with a very good one. It just gives you the issues. And then I'll talk about the handicap parking another time. Okay, we talked to Historic about the signage we want to put on the lamp post out here where Billy's sign is, to identify what else is on that side. Because quite often, when I'm working out in the beds, and I know Laura and her shop, people have made the comment either, is there anything over there? Or, I didn't know this stuff was here. So we want to make it very visible and identify the businesses on that side and the public restroom. And we'll get a mock-up of it in the next month or so. And Lisa and Heather have given us permission to put it on the pole. That shop actually owns the pole. And they're pursuing putting a light on the top of the pole. And so that's great. We have a grant opportunity in 26-27 to apply for a Tennessee Tourism Infrastructure Grant, which is, will start, I can't remember, starts in 2026. One of the problems and this is to remodel our restrooms, just totally, with everything super easy to clean, as easy to maintain as possible. One of the problems we've had is the state says that 650 people live in the city of Belleville, and that the median income is $89,000 a year. So I spoke to the state statistician, and he said they take the 2020 census and estimate from that, but the 2020 census shows that Belleville has 410 people.
Right.
I don't think we'd have that big a change in 2026. So I've made several calls to find out exactly what is the formula they use and why the median income seems to be so high. So hopefully, and no students are counted in the census and should not be counted in anything the state does. Feds say if you are a student, then you're counted at home, and your parents' income is counted at home. That has nothing to do with Belleville. So I've placed several phone calls, and they're supposed to get back with me, and I'll talk to them again and see if we can get the state to reconsider the information they have.
Any questions about that? About the quilt out here,
You've got to dial
and we have the engineer draw some specs for that concrete. So we don't wanna put it down in a year, it'd be cracked all to pieces. We wanna put it out right. So I'm gonna check on that for the board. Arts Council report. Friends of the Historic Belleville School. Mr. Mark.
I'm gonna do part of it, and then I'm gonna hand it off to Katie. I think is she on the agenda?
I'm on the agenda.
You're already on, okay, well, I'll do my part. Bank balance as of January 31st, 71,626.78. Big item besides what Katie's gonna reference is the TDEC grant for the local parks. South Central Tennessee Developmental District is coordinating the completion of this grant. April 1st is the deadline, Craig. So, if y'all do it in March, you've got to present it to BOMA. BOMA has to approve it for it to be accepted by the state.
Okay,
So it won't make, if you do it in April, it won't, we won't be able to use it.
we'll get it done before then.
We have to, if you recall, we had to have 2 public meetings last year. I'm asking BOMA for permission to use next month's meeting. Come about 30 minutes early, starting at about 5:30, and let's do a public meeting from 5:30 to 6. And then you'll start on your regular time, but I'm asking for permission to do that a month early, when y'all get to voting. That's something to request.
So that's about the school, right?
That's for the school grant, to convert it to a community center. The grant request, I'm sure you wanna know how much that is $460,000. We have to provide $230,000 of that. Okay? We need to raise money between December of 2025 and signing of contract, which will tentatively be in October of 2026. So we've got about 3 or 4 events between now and then that we can use to raise money or have pledges. I'm seeking from the state, what kind of pledge in writing do you have to have for that grant to be maxed? Based on the data you just shared, Bellwether is considered wealthy. So we don't get the same quality of grants. It's a 50-50 max instead of an 80-20, 80 being the state, 20 being the local entity. So if we could get that 89,000 cut back, and
Yeah,
six
it's
hun- and
really
600
odd, it shows the average income is 39,000, but the median
Yeah.
is 89, and that, again, counted people, so I'll keep
The
pursuing.
accountants,
How many people did they say we had?
650. Within the city limits of Bellbuckle, because I pursued a lot of
Yeah.
questions to make sure who was counted, who didn't count, that kind of thing, so I'll keep
that's all I
trying to
have without
persuade them that there's an error.
stealing Katie's thunder, so I won't divulge anything else.
Any question, Mr. King? Mayoral update, speaking of grants, the fire department was approved for 12,000 and change grant for equipment. There was a snafu in the way it was turned in, which happens, Mark, no?
Yeah.
It was turned in under Bedford County government, and they technically got it. But, one of the firemen over there wrote the grant for us, and we're supposed to use our numbers and build up the fire department. And somehow it got turned around and had, Bedford County government written all over it. Anyway, we're working on getting this changed. And, anyway, I guess that's about all I have to report on that. Old business, handicap parking on coffee shop side, Betsy?
Again, I've got it on the handout, maybe, my bar is yours. I'm not gonna ask to make a motion tonight, but I want, the Board of Aldermen to consider a few things. The handicap parking at the picnic table over there by the booths cannot be counted as one of the minimum spaces because the state counts those that are very close to businesses. And if somebody has to cross a street and we have the state highway, then, it counts for the handicap picnic table. But then in my opinion, motorcycle parking does not reduce downtown parking. because in the past, motorcycles each took up a whole parking place. And we have a lot of motorcycles, and now they each only take up half. And I've taken some time to do some observations. Well, also, being down here early in the morning, working in the bed, I see the groups that come in. And we have quite a few shoppers who are elderly, as in my age group and higher. And, I feel they need additional parking so they feel welcome. And just focusing on the minimum, I think is not saying we really value you as a shopper, because, that's who I see a lot shopping. And also, based on observations, merchants seem to take up an average of 3 to 4 downtown parking spaces each day. I feel that they could unload their vehicles if they need to, and then park across where the white fence is, and not take up, downtown parking spaces. So those are some things I want you to think about. Then the quilt downtown, last time I asked, would it not be marked to, still be a quilt, but to show that it accommodates 3 cars? Right now, the stripes on it, I've watched, and based on where they are, people seem to park 2 to the, 1 to the right and 1 in the middle, but that area on the left seems to confuse them, and they don't know what to do. I think it's entirely possible to include white stripes in the pattern. I mean, quilters use white banding constantly in quilts, so that people just kind of visually see, okay, here's parking, oh, here's a white line, okay, I need to park between those. And I think since the quilt's gonna be done completely, again, I think the pattern can be worked without reducing the attractiveness of the quilt at all, and, identify those clear 3 parking spaces. Because right now, people seem to know, okay, this is a parking space, this is, and then when they get to the left one, they seem to kind of go in different directions. Then, in doing some research, ADA recommends that at least 1 van handicap parking space with additional room on the passenger side, be somewhere so that for mechanized lifts, for wheelchairs, and they suggest that there be no curb next to it. So I think the space in front of the public restroom would be perfect for that, since it has no curb, it just road goes straight over. So those are just some things I'd like the Board of Aldermen to think about, and kind of look when you're downtown, notice, you know, who, the age range, the demographic of the shoppers, you know, that kind of thing, because I really think we have a fairly large, population that, in the elder range, I mean, churches bring, you know, retired people all the time, so, thank you.
Any questions? Betsy, may I make a quick comment? With the web, with
It's
the
not
web,
public comment time, is it?
well, it's about the quilt. Would the Webb School Art Department maybe be a resource for redesigning it? That's all.
That'd be a chamber issue, wouldn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
New business, Miss Katie?
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
So, I'm coming before you again this year. And I could, Ronnie and I talked earlier, I could say, Well, it's the same as last year. I'm coming before you asking for permission to apply for a liquor license, but I made this presentation speech. So. Good evening, Mayor and Alderperson. I'm Katie, current co-treasurer of the Friends of the Historic Bell Buckle School and chair of the upcoming fundraiser event the Friends are hosting at the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall on March 14th, 2026. The first addendum in your presentation folder is a description of this year's murder mystery, Shoot, Shoot, Bang, and that's addendum A. Our director, Becky Charlton, and her husband wrote this year's script and have enlisted a tremendous lineup of semi-professional actors. Next, you'll find a timeline of the event, and will notice this year we have added a matinee performance the afternoon of the same day. That's addendum B. Last year, our fundraiser was successful in no small part due to your approval of our request for permission to serve alcoholic beverages at our event. The event raised over $20,000 in ticket and alcoholic beverage sales, item and cash donations, and in-kind service. This year, the addition of a matinee performance will hopefully lead to more ticket sales and a larger return. I come before you today to request permission once again to apply for a special occasion liquor license from the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission. In a phone conversation with TBAC, they confirmed the applicable rules are the same as last year. The next two pages, addendum C, contain the relevant rules for your reference. I highlighted the specific restriction that brought me before you tonight. It's circled. As a 501(c) organization, the Friends of the Historic Bell Buckle School does qualify to receive a special occasion license. I was also informed that I would need to obtain a letter from Greg Heineke as owner of the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall, giving the Friends permission to sell alcoholic beverages at our event. Our copy of that letter is on your next page. That's addendum D. In addition, because the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall is located in a technically dry, incorporated town, I was told by the Alcoholic Beverage Commission that I would need to come before the Board of Mayor and Alderpersons to ask for permission to serve alcoholic beverages at our event. Agent Riley Flowers' letter is addendum E, addressing the restriction, and his letter includes the following. A special occasion license can be issued to your 501 organization even if the event is held in a dry city, so long as the city provides documented approval of some kind, such as a letter from a city official or proof of approval at a city council meeting or similar such meeting. I understand that questions of liability may arise, as they did for me. As reassurance, I was informed last year by the TABC staff that in their experience, charitable fundraising events tend to attract a more mature audience, one that generally is mindful of personal limits and the serious consequence of drinking and driving. To further negate any liability to the town of Bell Buckle, the Board of Mayor and Alderpersons, the Friends of the Historic Bell Buckle School, Greg Heineke, and the Bell Buckle Banquet Hall, and all parties involved in the Shoot, Shoot, Bang event. All attendees purchasing drink tickets must have their ID checked by a Friends of the Historic Bell Buckle School board member to assure they are of legal drinking age, and will be required to wear a wristband showing they have done so. Also, as you will see on the next page, that's addendum F, all event goers will be required to sign this waiver of liability when having their ID checked and before purchasing drink tickets. Last year, we had 79 waivers signed out of 156 attendance, so it was about half. As you will see from the question and answer following, the Tennessee Alcoholic Commission does not require a licensed bartender to serve drinks at our special occasion 501c3 event. But as an extra measure of caution, we have already arranged to hire the same licensed bartender for our event who served last year. The last page gives you my contacts at the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission. You may call or email them as needed. Therefore, I come before you today to respectfully request your permission to apply for a special occasion license to serve alcoholic beverages at our murder mystery fundraiser on March 14th. I do appreciate your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Peggy, I have one about the event.
Okay?
I know last year they had auction items at the event. This is online.
We are looking into that, Betsy. Because we have two performances, we're trying to make things equal for both performances, so we're trying.
Okay, so that's the direction you're going.
We're hopefully going in that direction, but if we don't, it'll just be a regular silent auction that ends at the very end. And a lot of it is going to depend on the expense and the manpower required and who we can get to run that. Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Also on the new business, Eli Pagello.
Hey there, I'm a local here in town and I'm here to apply for a vending machines license. To put a vending machine here in the town square. I'm still trying to figure that out. I just thought I should get the license first. Get in place. It's gonna be a snack and drink vending machine that will be refrigerated. And so I'll just be selling snacks, drinks, sodas, and some healthy options along with moon pies and RC Cola.
Could you tell me how deep will the vending machine be?
It'll be about 3.5 feet deep. Or around 3 feet.
And where would you be putting it?
I still have to figure that out. I'm trying to ask Mr. Heineke about putting it in the Bell Buckles Farmers Market, or near that area.
Oh, okay. The reason I asked about the depth is if you were planning to put it down here, that would be too deep, but if you're putting it over there.
Maybe, well, once you figure it out, where you've got permission to put it, so you come back to this board and, maybe work on it from there.
Ronnie, I know it's not public speaking time, but, what about in the, like where the bathrooms are? People use them, they might want a snack, pull over, and maybe get to a cafe or something like that.
Put the public restrooms on, outside,
Or
is that something outside?
Yes, sir.
Waterproof?
Oh, okay, I didn't know if maybe inside the building, because this is their building, like it's a building, but then there's the bathrooms in that building.
I don't know about that, but the last time we're gonna try that, we were told that we had to give that right to the, handicapped people.
Oh, you have room, yeah.
From the understate room.
Yeah, okay.
From the fire department side of it. I don't know, I'll check on that again and see.
I've got,
Is that, pardon me?
I've got some concerns.
Okay.
And there are several merchants here. I know we have several merchants that sell snacks and sell soft drinks and moon pies, and I'm wondering what impact that would have on merchant sales?
I don't think it would be major, because they're probably gonna be at it, after hours more than when everybody is open. They're usually just grabbing things when they're in the shops as a souvenir, so we probably get a lot more activity in the evening time, from what I'm thinking.
And probably if it's in the pavilion, it wouldn't impact y'all at all, would it?
But the pavilion's not an option.
What about the park?
I mean, the
Well,
great
It's just
Heineke's.
the chamber
I think
now
by
has
the
a
bathroom,
so
it's
it's not an
still
option.
Oh, okay.
Down by the park, would that be an option? Down where the building and everything is, underneath there by the restrooms? Because that would be an opportunity for everyone who's down at the park with their children, and they don't have to come all the way into town. Would that be an option? And that would be, you'd have to talk to the park board about that.
Then you said two vending machines, one down here and one there. Could be a great entrepreneur.
Do you have any ideas where, I'm sorry, like, do you have any thoughts to where you might want to put it?
I'm open to any suggestions.
You know, they used to have them at the store, you might check the owners there too, and it was actually kind of convenient.
I think one of the bathrooms is kind of a cool idea. If people walk through that alley, or they stop. I mean, even when we have lots of people in town, and it's hard to get to places.
Sometimes I don't want to
That
talk to
machine.
anybody, I just want to.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of the
I
park.
would do the park and
I
the.
love it.
Can you do two?
It's right now, I can only do
Just
one.
that.
Park first budget.
You need to go back and maybe put it in there, put it on, and then work.
Yeah.
Put it first. Eli, is that the grill, you go back and,
Yes, sir.
you know, so nail down an area, you put it first, and then we'll come and talk about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all we did, is public input, Mr. Anderson?
Oh, me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I brought up at the meeting last month or the month before the concept of honesty. And I don't mean this disparagingly. I happened to watch an old Murder, She Wrote episode today while I was eating my lunch. And it was about the fact that inherent in government is a tendency to not always be completely honest. So I suggested a month or 2 months ago that bell buckles set the standard for America. And I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic or metaphorical. I think bell buckle could literally gain fame as the most honest government entity in America. Because people are very concerned now, right? I mean, it's all over the news. People are raging about government. And so I'm proposing that, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. Boy, did Biff get mad at me at the county commissioner committee meeting. I read the same thing I read here about honesty. And I said, raise your hand if you're for it. And Biff said, no! You can't raise your hand. Anyhow, I like Biff. Anyway, so I just want to throw that back out for everybody to consider that we, and I'm serious as can be, that we make an absolute commitment. I quoted Corinthians and cited the story of George Washington and the cherry tree. Honesty is a Christian value. It's a Hebrew value. It's an American value. And I propose that we really work consciously and explicitly. And it wouldn't be easy. And I'm not talking about your personal life. Like if Aunt Sally says, do you like my dress? I'm not telling you not to lie about that. You know, but in regard to town business, there are times when personal convictions, personal feelings might make somebody want to be a little bit less than completely honest. I'm proposing that the board be completely absolutely honest all the time.
Yep, about 30 seconds.
Okay, have you noticed I talk too much? Okie dokie, that's all I wanted to say, thank you. And thank you to the water department. You guys work very, very hard, and you don't know how much I like having running water. Because I remember at Grandma's farm having to go out to the well outside. So, thank you. All right, thank you all.
Ronnie, you still got more public comment?
There's countries that are starting to
Yes.
to their leaders. They're holding them accountable.
Last month, it was communicated that there was a water leak that was found down at the creek bed on Fosterville Road. And it was a huge amount of water that you figured based on previous data had been being leaked. What was that number again? I think it was 700,000.
Somewhere around
And
there.
that was a day?
No,
That was a month?
yes.
At what cost does 700,000 gallons cost the town?
Around $2.50, 1,000, something like that.
Okay. 250 times 700.
3 and 4.
3 and a quarter. Yeah, they,
3 1/4 times 700
no, time, yeah.
7,000.
times 7,000. Okay. Thank you.
You're right, 700.
Yeah.
And you got the valve, or the
It's big.
great thing.
Any other? Ms. Heather?
I've got a couple of things. Basically, for Ms. Wheeler's, concerns, I'm gonna try to do all of this really quick, so if I can just say it all. And then if you have rebuttal on it, that's fine.
Can you
handicap-
slow down a little, I'm old.
I hadn't even gotten there yet.
No, but I mean your speed.
Right, no, I'm saying, I haven't even gotten that part yet, so, handicap parking, as far as the handicap over by the, fire hall, I think is a perfect space for that. If you're gonna do a van space especially, I think that's the ideal place for it. We are lacking parking right now. I don't think it's about, the elderly that are coming into town, because, and I don't mean that that sounded curt, but, when we have an abundance of groups that come in, they come in on a bus, they don't park here, they drop off. So if you come downtown and you see the town full of silver-haired folks that came from a local, because a lot of them live locally or they live in facilities locally, they came in on a bus. And they're not shoppers, they're eaters. I know this because we have a shop. And what they do is they use the shop to walk around and then they go to the cafe. So that's the majority of what I would say. I don't know that we have a demand for it, because as the chamber, we get calls. The only time I get calls and questions about handicap parking is during festivals. Just saying that out loud. I'm not saying don't add or make it more accessible for people. That's not my point. Motorcycle parking, I will disagree about motorcycle parking. Motorcycles get a bad rap in my opinion, because if I drive in by myself in a car, I have to use a whole space. But if I drive in on a motorcycle by myself, I'm not allowed to use a whole space. And I don't see the difference in that. But what I will say is, there are more cars that park in that than there are motorcycles during the day. I think we've all seen that as merchants. It's underutilized. So you definitely put it out there for motorcycles, and I get it, but it's underutilized. It's mainly empty or parked by a vehicle that shouldn't be there. So then we have that problem. As for the quilt square, we have already discussed the size of that, actually reducing. So if we reduce that into what we were talking about, it's pretty much gonna fit in 2 spaces anyway. And between this line and that line, if they can't figure that part out, maybe not drive.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying that we reduce to 1 parking space?
No, I said about 2.
2.
About 2.
In my opinion, you still need something
Well, we can put a
visual.
marker, rather than altering the entire pattern, I'm thinking if we put a marker on the curb or something and just behind it, so that it's a short marker but not all the way through it. If you're parking in a parking space and you're seeing the curb, you see if it says, no parking on it or whatever it may be. So I think a curb marker would probably suffice for that.
Anything that works.
Yeah, but it will be reduced in size, so that's gonna help tremendously with the, spatial issues on that. And then last, vending machine, love an entrepreneur. I apologize, but the pavilion is not gonna be an option, mainly because the chamber and the Heineke's have
come to an agreement that we're gonna be using that space. And, unfortunately, as the chamber, we do have merchants every day that sell snacks and drinks. The park, I don't know what your deal is on that. I think we're getting lovely space for it. Outside of that, I have no input on it, but good luck. So, I mean, cause I love it when kids come through and have a business. That's all I got.
Can I do one comment on the clarification on the motorcycle?
Yes.
The motorcycle parking area is not for motorcycles per se. It's a safety issue that the state came to us about this stop sign and this stop sign, that if there is a vehicle parked there, when they pull up to that stop sign and we try to get them to move the stop bar out, they will not budge on that. But when they're sitting there, they cannot see when this car is coming, and that's the safety issue that they presented to us.
Which is great. I will also say that there is a shrubbery sightline issue sometimes too. So there's actually greenery out here that is a sightline issue.
Well, the
So when
tree
you
came out, there was a sight line. They
Well-
pointed right at where we needed to put the sight line.
Okay, because I still sometimes have to like lean out around some things. The
Yeah.
other thing too, if we're gonna talk about that, and my time's up. My time up.
Close.
I wanna bring it up again. People are falling off the railroad tracks. What are we doing? Can we not get something up there, at least a pole that's got a reflector on it that says, don't drive off the track?
Yes.
CSX was here, they looked at it. Their comment was that they don't know how to stay on the road, it's their view.
That's not fair to them, because if
I
you're sitting
understand.
down here, you cannot see over that hill at all. And if you're not from this town, and as the event center in town, I can tell you that we have a ton of people not from this town that show up down there. They can't see at night, so when they go over it, they have no clue. All I'm asking is what about one of those plastic reflective markers that are like yay tall? Can we not outside of
We cannot
CSX do
get on
that?
that property whatsoever.
Is it not on Bubba's property?
No.
Or Steve's property?
The easement goes past the railroad.
So there's nothing. Can you spray paint the road? Anything, reflectors on the road? If you had a reflector standing there, is what I'm saying. Okay, I know, I'm done. I'm out.
CSX and T-Dot are working together. Correct.
Somebody's gonna get hurt.
We had a family member that ran off.
And get something done. Everybody gets hurt.
Yeah, because I mean, we've had trains stop at the historic Bell Buckle sign. That's like, I don't know, 12 feet from your car. I don't know about you, but that makes me nervous.
The
And
railroad
a
right
car
away,
was-
what, is it 50 foot east side of
50 foot each side.
middle of the rail?
The car was hit there not that long ago, remember?
Mm-hmm. Well, we're trusted.
Remember when Jordan Hefner went through the windshield?
Any other?
Yes.
Ma'am.
I have a question. When you gave the water report, I didn't hear anything about any new water taps. There was no request for that?
We haven't got anything on the books as right now.
Perfect, thank you. And then I just had a comment about the, I didn't know Heather was gonna speak to that, but, I previously had a store here. And when I had my store, the majority of people that came on church buses and those types of things, actually were dropped off right in the front of where the cafe was, and then they parked. So I was gonna mention that as well. And I had a question about, where exactly are you requesting the handicap spot be in front of the coffee shop? Because they don't have a lot of, no, not the coffee shop, at the restroom. Okay, thank you for the clarification, because the coffee shop, with it being around the corner, I would be concerned that they don't have parking as it is, so, okay.
Also, room to go out.
Yeah. That's all, thank you.
Go on to the regular meeting, minutes from the previous month, motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Any discussion? Favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. So ordered. Financial reports. Your motion. Move approval. Is there a second? Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Let's see where we need to go next then. permission to have a meeting in March before a regular BOMA meeting. Mr. King, friends of the school. That's your pleasure of the group.
30 minutes earlier, so that they have it on the books, that's how it is. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a motion?
Yes, I'll motion for 30 minutes.
For a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to have permission for that. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those like sign.
That's the 30 minutes previous, so.
5:30. Before the next meeting.
By regulation, it has to be before the meeting.
Handicap parking on the old business on the coffee shop side. in front
I
of
didn't
the-
make a motion.
No?
No.
Okay.
Said this was for information purposes
Oh,
only.
okay, I bet that's all right. That includes all the old business. Katie Felicis vote to approve limited liquor license for the event.
I make a motion. Be
I'll
approved.
second. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Get that on the book. So ordered. And Mr. Pajello is gonna bring back more information. So that concludes the business. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there anything, you don't have anything else? Second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who made the motion? Was that?
I did.
Yeah.